I'm Harrison Graham. It is time to dive in to some Senior Bowl Bears draft targets. The Senior Bowl is in the books. A lot of nuggets, a lot of players that I would imagine the Bears are interested in. And we'll go ahead and get right into that here. And this is important. Kevin Fishbane had this note because he was down there at the Senior Bowl covering it for the Athletic, for the Bears beat, and said that the Bears' usual contingent on the field, yada, yada, Ryan Poles, Ian Cunningham, Trey Koziel, Jeff King. The front office has had at least 2 draft picks from the Senior Bowl each year. So let's just revisit those. Velus Jones, Braxton Jones, pretty good, 5th round. Dominic Robinson, I think we're near the end of the road here. Jatiri Carter, round 7, already off the team. Darnell Wright, that's been a pretty good hit. Tyreek Stevenson, big year coming up. Some good, some bad. Zach Piggins, not very good. Roshan, okay. Torrey Taylor, good for a punter, round 4. It's questionable considering how last season went, but he is a good punter. And then Austin Booker, jury's still out, but certainly has a high ceiling there. They also, the Senior Bowls contributed heavily to them having interest in Tyson Bagent as a UDFA as well, so that's noteworthy. The point is Ryan Poles and his staff, they clearly value the Senior Bowl. And they should, because more and more, even first-round picks are going to the Senior Bowl, as Jim Nagy has kind of built a powerhouse there with that event, so good for him. But, yeah, I mean, history tells us they're going to take at least 2 players from this event. Now, whether that's 2 of their first 3 picks or some day 3 sleepers, who knows, but they value this event. And we're going to look at some players that I think are pretty interesting that the Bears could target this time around. Before we do that, subscribe and join the channel for 100% free. Thank you so much. We crossed 116,000 subscribers this weekend. Trying to get to 117,000. That's our next milestone. If you want free and daily Bears content, we got you covered here on Chicago Bears Now. Okay, number 1. I think he was the talk of the week. Other than maybe Jack Bash out of TCU, his brother died in the tragedy, had the game-winning touchdown, all that stuff. But from a Bears perspective, offensive line is obviously very key. And Grey Zabel, I think, helped his draft stock a ton in Mobile this weekend. Jim Nagy having the note that he was named the Senior Bowl overall practice player of the week in a poll with NFL executives from all 32 teams. That's pretty noteworthy because they give out awards each week that players there vote on, but the one where all the executives voted on, the scouts, this guy won it. I think that's pretty noteworthy. Dane Brugler quote tweeted that and said, and it wasn't really close. Zabel had a dominant week. He was already in the top 50 mix, but now he's knocking on the first round door. Top center in the draft. So he's labeling him a center. Now, he's got versatility, played tackle in college. Most believe he'll kick inside to guard or center. I think that's where he should play in the pros as well. But it's kind of nice in a pinch if you need him to kick out. You've seen like Joe Tooney with the Chiefs do that. You at least know he has done the job before. Knocking on that first round door, to me, like the Bears are at 39 and 41, so early second round. If he's in that range and you still need a starting guard or center, especially center, pull the trigger. Because this is a bad center draft, and depending on what you do in free agency, if this guy hits, is there at 39, and he's a bigger guy, and what did Ben Johnson have in Detroit? Frank Ragnow, big center. Like, you plug this guy in at center, he's mean, he's tenacious, he's excellent as a pass protector. I'm pretty intrigued. I don't know if I'd trade up for him. Like, do I want to trade into round 1 for him? I'm not ready to do that. But if he's there at 39, man, I'd have a hard time passing on this kid. Josh Conerly Jr., the offensive tackle out of Oregon, who most known for this week at the Senior Bowl, getting pummeled by Mike Green, the Marshall edge, who we'll talk about in a second. But it's why you can't just get caught up in one rep that goes viral on social media, because he was voted the national squad top offensive lineman, which defensive linemen and linebackers position groups voted on, so guys he was going up against. So we can't get caught up on one rep, and obviously I'm sure that was an embarrassing rep for him. But this guy's been rising up draft boards really since the last month of the regular season in college football. It's like, this is a sleeper to go round 1, and now I think he's firmly a first-round pick. The question is how high? This reminds me a lot of Darnell Wright when the Bears drafted him. Very similar. Like throughout that college season, he's probably middle round. Then he's day 2. And then like going into the Senior Bowl, like fringe first-round guy, had a great Senior Bowl, really good combine. And then by the end of that, it's like, the Bears could take him in the top 10. I feel like Conerly is on the similar trajectory. Like throughout the season, middle round guy. Then, he's going to go second round. And then has a good week at the Senior Bowl. He's he's probably safe in the first round. If he has a great combine, could he get up to the 10th pick? I mean, is Kelvin Banks and Will Campbell, are they just complete grand slams? I think there's questions there. Some people think they need to kick inside. I don't think he's quite number 10 pick range right now, but at this time, I don't know if Darnell Wright was either. But as the process went on, he got there, and Darnell Wright's been a pretty good player for the Chicago Bears. So if you draft this guy, he's played left tackle the last couple of years. He's gotten better, and better. You plug him in on the left side of your offensive line. I don't know what that means for Braxton Jones as you look at the depth chart here. But, again, if you feel good about upgrading left tackle with somebody, I'm never going to say you shouldn't do it. I do think the interior needs to be addressed, but who knows? By the time the draft's here, you may have 2 new starters on the interior. Then if you really like a left tackle in the first round, take them. So I've kind of hinted at this. I like the scenario for the Bears where you trade down from number 10 and you get some offensive linemen later in the first round. Josh Conerly, Tyler Booker, Josh Simmons, Kelvin Banks, whoever it is, if you could trade down, acquire an extra day 2 pick, and then still get an offensive lineman that can start right away, that would be pretty ideal. How about the guy that took him to the ground, Mike Green, who has been on scouts' radars for a while now, but he had such a dominant first 2 days of practice in Mobile, and you see kind of the screen grab here of him taking down Conerly. He literally left. Like, I think he was advised by his agent, like, hey, you've met with teams. You've shown what you need to. Let's not get you injured. Let's go home. Now, a couple questions. One, small school. So, Trench's guy, small school. How quickly does that translate? Well, he's pummeling first-round tackles, at least in 1 rep, and by most accounts had a dominant week. So I think he at least checked that box for the most part. I think the bigger question is, especially in a 4-3 scheme, he's about 6'3", 250, not like – tiny, but, probably fits more prototypically as a 3-4 outside linebacker. Now, I think sometimes we overvalue that. Like, I'll never forget the Cowboys taking Taco Charlton over T.J. Watt because T.J. Watt's a 3-4 guy. Yeah, I think T.J. Watt would have worked anywhere. But he does have short arms. He's in the 8th percentile in arm length. Dennis Allen typically likes guys with 34-plus inch arms. He's under 33. I'm not saying, like, for me personally, that's a deal breaker, but if I'm just kind of reading the tea leaves, I do wonder if that would, give the Bears pause because we know they like the real rangy athletic traits. Obviously, this guy's athletic, but we'll see how he tests, but you can't teach 34, 35-inch arms. He just doesn't have that. So I do wonder how that will impact the Bears' view of him, but clearly he's got the chops, he's got the motor, and he's got the power as well. Okay, we are sponsored by GameTime here on Chicago Bears Now. Once the schedule is set, if you want to get your tickets for some games next season, go watch the Ben Johnson Bears. You can do that. In the meantime, there's events every single night, concerts, comedy shows, Bulls, Blackhawks, wherever part of the country you're living in. If you want to go check out some live music, comedian, you can do so. And it's not just sports. Disney on Ice was in Chicago last week. Events like that coming to the town all the time. I know my wife and I, about once every couple months, are like, I wonder who's playing tonight, what concert, what comic is in town. If we like one we see and price is reasonable, and usually last minute tickets, lowest price guarantee with GameTime, you get a pretty good deal day of the event. We'll just buy tickets, have a little date night. It's a really easy way to get out of the house, and GameTime's going to help you get those tickets in a timely manner and get tickets, high-quality tickets within your budget by using the feature GameTime Picks, which will filter out the fluff of thousands of tickets, so make sure you take advantage of that. Download the app, sign up, create an account, use code CHATSPORTS to get $20 off your first purchase only. That's code CHATSPORTS. Terms do apply. What time is it? It's game time. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. How about this kid, Darius Alexander out of Toledo? What a 2-year stretch for the Rockets. Last year, Quinyon Mitchell. This year, Darius Alexander. I think he's played himself into day 2. I think 39 or 41 is a little rich, but 72, if he's sitting there early round 3, I think that's pretty good. Plays with a lot of power. But I think what impressed me most in reading scouts and who had boots on the grounds in Mobile, he's got multiple pass rush moves. Like, it's not just a bull rush. He's got a cross chop. He can bend a little bit as well. He's physical enough to stop the run. I like what this kid did this week down there, and I think the Senior Bowl really can let these small school guys show what they got and see if they can hold up. Well, he more than held up. He had a borderline dominant week, and, I think he'd be in a situation, too, where he could be like that number 3 guy, right, on your defensive tackle grouping. I think he can play both 3-tech and 1-tech, so he could kind of rotate in both. I think he's an instant upgrade over Zach Pickens. If you keep Pickens in this scenario, maybe he's your 4th guy. Sure, that's fine. But I do think you need to upgrade over him in terms of depth behind Dexter and Billings. And I think a guy like this in the 3rd round, that's proper because he's going to rotate in a lot. Maybe not a day 1 starter, but he rotates a lot as a rookie. Then, Billings is a free agent. Maybe he's a starter in year 2. Devin Neal. This is a guy I was keeping an eye on going into the Senior Bowl, and I thought he had an excellent week. A couple things I wanted to see out of Devin Neal as you look at his college production as a runner at Kansas. Also had over 700 receiving yards in his collegiate career. He's just a stud. 2 things I wanted to see. A, what is he measured in as? 220 pounds. I think 5'11". That's good size. And 2, how does he look as a pass catcher? He looked excellent. In the pass-catching drills, he ran crisp routes, quick feet, got open consistently. I want a back who is dynamic, can run between the tackles, has enough burst to hit the home run, which Devin Neal does. I don't know what he'll run. I would guess, like high 4.4s, 4.48, something like that. Like, he's not a speed demon, but he's got good quickness and speed, and someone who can catch the ball as well. Is it Jahmyr Gibbs? Probably not. But can he be a guy that you play screen game with? He can run routes out of the backfield, maybe not, crazy wheels or anything, but at least some underneath stuff. I think Devin Neal checked all those boxes. And again, the size. He plays with great contact balance. I'm a big fan of his. And you know what else I like too? This guy was a 4-star recruit, born and raised in Lawrence, Kansas, stayed at home and went to Kansas when they were atrocious. And throughout his career, they just got better and better. They became a relevant team and went to back-to-back bowl games. So I like that as well. Loyalty is a thing there. High character kid. I think you could pair him with DeAndre Swift and have a pretty good 1-2 punch. As far as where he'll go, I like him a lot better at 72 than in that 40 range where the Bears have 2 picks, but we'll have to wait and see. Name a player that the Bears should draft on day 2, a guy like a Devin Neal or a Darius Alexander. Who's someone in the 2nd round, 3rd round you would like the Bears to get? Go ahead and drop his name in the comments below. And then just a little rapid fire, some other names that I think are intriguing. Brashard Smith, some have compared him to this draft's, why am I blanking? Jahmyr Gibbs, he's pretty electric in space. He catches the ball well. Didn't hear a ton about him this week, though, so I'll have to look into that more. R.J. Harvey, I wish he was he's 5'7" 3/4, 208. So he's plenty thick, but on the shorter end, not a deal breaker. You've seen guys like Ray Rice at 5'7" have really good playing careers and then cut short for obvious reasons. Ollie Gordon, 6'1", 230. I know he didn't have a great year, but Oklahoma State was kind of a mess. I'm still intrigued with him. Tez Johnson at receiver. Could he be your poor man's Jamison Williams, a day 2 pick? I'm curious to see what he runs in the 40. Xavier Restrepo, fun slot receiver. If he's there at 72, I like that value. Ariante Ursery, Minnesota, 6'5", 339. Moves pretty decently too. If he's there at 39-41 and you want to take a swing on a left tackle, I don't mind that value. Wyatt Millam, probably going to kick inside in the NFL. Got some reps at guard and center. I think probably more so at guard. Same with Jonah Savania, the Arizona offensive lineman. Played tackle in college, but I think he'll be a really good mauling guard in the NFL. Princely Uman Maleen, we know the Bears met with him. Long, athletic pass rusher. And then Walter Nolan as well, his teammate, the defensive tackle out of Ole Miss. Both had really, really good weeks. All right, that's going to do it. Senior Bowl draft targets. We'll have a post-Senior Bowl mock draft as well. Depending on when you're watching this, it could already be out or it will be coming out. So be on the lookout for that. My name is Harrison Graham. Bear down.